Hi guys, and welcome to Samsung Now. Samsung Now is where we look at all things Samsung, all things tech, all things gaming, and kind of anywhere in between. Now, any of you that watch my videos will know that this week, especially today, I'm going to do something I didn't think I would do, and that's update the firmware on the TV behind me to 1180. I'm using 1169, so what I need to do is I need to draw a comparison between 1169 and 1180 or 1180.5, and then we're going to do a watch some footage, 4K footage that I've chosen that I think demonstrates some of the problems that 4K TVs have. And then we'll apply the update, and then from there we will come back, watch that same content again, and see if any of the problems were there in 1169 are there in 1180 or 1180.5, and see if things have improved or not, and then hopefully look to find a fix. Okay, hi guys. Here we have the test footage that I'm using. I'm playing it through my PC connected to my AV unit, which isn't doing any pre-processing at all and is sending it direct to the TV. The TV is set just to its standard settings. There's nothing being added to it at all. I'm not using my own settings. This is just the bog standard TV. So usually people just put it to standard. I've got it set to dynamic, which people kind of prefer. So it just makes things a bit brighter. The backlight's turned all the way up. So it's kind of the very bog standard setting that people would use is just the dynamic setting. So we're using J-River Media Center, which is a PC application, really good. You can tweak it an awful lot. It plays on every media, audio and video file you care to mention. It works really well with an awful lot of content that you can throw at it, and the engine is solid. So this is why I wanted to use J-River for this. There's a good reason why I'm using this content and not content from movies. I spent ages yesterday working on test footage and putting all that together, and I uploaded it to YouTube and it got flagged as copyright. So obviously, I was using copyrighted material, in only moments of them, but enough for YouTube to get a bit twitchy about it. So I've had to start again and create and get this footage, which is sort of public domain, freely available, and to use for applications such as what we're doing today. So we have the 4K footage, and on each one I will cover what we're looking for, the problems that we can expect with these various types of footage. And I've tried to choose footage that would push the TV a little bit. So we've got sort of a lot of contrast and a lot of colors, and then we've got lots of darks and lights and speed and motion, and then jet blacks, and then bright whites and so on. So we've got a lot of difference and things to compare. So we're doing this initially on the firmware that this TV came with, which was 1169, the one I've been very happy with, and then I'm going to update to 1180 or 1180.5, and then we're looking to draw comparisons between the two, see if we can see what the problems are, and then we can look to fix those. Okay? So the first one that we will look to do is the time-lapse mountains. Some of these are pretty short, but we'll play them. So what we're looking for, if you follow my cursor, we're looking for pixelation. around the dark areas. There is a degree of that. I'm seeing it here as it gets darker and darker and the light moves away. We're not getting a fine sort of gradient. We're getting some pixelation. I saw there. Looking for some pixelation up here as it gets darker and darker, and there is some. We can see that. So there was some pixelation on that, as we saw. You know, it's workable. It's not the end of the world. Admit, you know, we're not running any processing on this at all. So we've got the canyon now. So high contrast, lots of color. There's some good, you know, good punchy colors coming through. Not really seeing too much of a problem with that, really. Colors are a bit unnatural, but that's to be expected from this standard setting that we have on the TV right now. We need a baseline to start with that everyone can work with. So we'll go to animals. On this one, it's a lioness, and we're looking for definition. We're looking to see how well the TV works on fur, whether it's doing it too soft or whether it appears too harsh. Also on the depth of field, we're looking to see if that is actually blurry and there's no pixelation in there. So there doesn't seem to be too much. The fur seems to be pretty decent. We're seeing some nice thing. We're seeing a bit of judder there though when the head was moving, so that was interesting. On this we can see that should be gradient, that should be a nice gradient, but it's not. We're getting some pixelation, so those are things. Certainly a lot of pixelation happening still on dark areas. Here we have just smoke on black. We can look at how, if we're getting any banding on the borders that are black, that are outside the image. But it seems to be doing okay. We'll play that again. Yeah, some definite pixelation going on. That's kind of something you would expect from a much older TV. But we'll do this again. You know, it's doing okay. I do sense that there's a little bit of motion judder going on. But overall it's doing okay. We're not getting too much banding on that. Nothing that, you know, you would get too upset about. All this footage, by the way, is provided by Mitch Martinez, who allows you to download it for free and use it. He's got an awful lot of footage. This is a good one to use. We're looking for blooming in terms of where the light is coming through, whether it's sort of whiting out the whole TV and whether the TV can recover. I'm looking for pixelation as well. So, you know, on these slightly darker areas where it's going from, you know, bright to dark again, are we getting some pixelation issues? And we kind of are. We'll play that once again. So, you know, there's the things you look out for are judder, light banding, and pixelation as the TV can't cope with what the footage is being shown. So there is a bit. You probably might not be able to see it. But it's doing okay. It's doing okay. You know, this is fast moving. But I do sense some judder on sort of fast moving scenes. But I think pixelation is probably one of the biggest problems I'm seeing. Now you're probably going to see my reflection because we're looking at the screen's glossy. So with this we're looking for banding. We're looking for sort of a halo whiting effect around the explosions of the fireworks. You're probably not going to see that very clearly because of the reflection of the screen. We'll try and move that in a little bit more. and we do have the standard settings on the TV, but it is much darker than what you're seeing it as, because obviously we've got limitations in terms of the Samsung phone that I'm recording this on, and of course, you know, there's a whole bunch of limitations being at play here, and of course there's going to be further ones being shown from the compression that you'll get from YouTube as well. So overall, from what I can see, you know, there's a little bit of sort of white that's going on, but mostly it's black. You know, you're kind of seeing this as grey right now, but trust me, it is black. It's just the reflection coming back from me and the light in the room sort of causing this to be sort of a bit grayer than it really needs to be. But overall, you know, it's on 11.6.9 firmware, it's coping okay with this footage. And we've just got it on the bog standard settings. We're not adding any processing or anything like that. You know, when we're getting these explosions, we are getting some, not huge, little bit of cloudy white appearing, nothing major though. And you know, where we're seeing the footage, the letterboxing of the footage, it's still pretty black. There's no real, you can't really tell where the letterboxing starts and where the darkness of the night is. So we're looking around those edges, and it's doing okay. It's doing okay, you know, that usually it's kind of difficult content for a TV to work with. So, you know, that's kind of a lot of the reason why I've been happy with 11.6.9, and I'm willing to change, because it has performed pretty well. There's been pixelation, there still is judder issues, but overall, you know, it performs okay. And one of my pet peeves are where we're getting banding and what have you in blacks. So, you know, see, there's a good bit of judder going on there. So yeah, you know, and I would like to see, you know, judder being fixed, pixelation being fixed, but I'm not holding out an awful lot on that. So that's our footage, and then what we're going to do now, again, we're just having it on the dynamic setting on the TV. So if we go there, got it set just to dynamic, and with dynamic we can't actually change an awful lot. And there we go. That's one of the things that annoys the hell out of me. Did you just see what happened? I didn't change anything, but the TV decided to change HDMI connection. This is just standard def TV that it's playing on. So yeah, it does that a lot, and I hope that's another thing it will change. And it's now moved back to my own settings, so I'll have to go back to that, go back to the PC. So yeah, so we're in dynamic, and we are running 11.6.9, as you can see, and now we're going to update to 1180, and we will see what the changes are. We will try and draw comparisons if we can, and then look to fix them. Okay, see you in the next video.